Welcome back. Episode 3, Travel Nursing Academy. Today we are going to talk all about pay. Sorry for the way that I look. If you follow me on TikTok, then you know I have been super sick, terrible migraines with some new symptoms for the last few weeks. So thanks for sticking with me and let's get into it. Work as a travel nurse. Let's talk about it from start all the way to finish. Job hunting. So now we've found our recruiter, we've figured out the submission process, we figured out how to build our profile. The next thing we're going to start is job hunting, you might see some things you're interested in. Hey, I'm really interested in Portland, Oregon. I'm really interested in San Diego, California. Your recruiter is going to take a look in their database and they are going to send you the job options that they have in those cities. Hey, Lindsay, here's PCU, San Diego, California, 2,400 a week gross. What that means. It sends you an initial pay package. It's just going to be a number, 2,400, 2,600 a week gross. Gross pay is the amount of money overall. That's before taxes, that's before insurance, that's before any kind of benefits, anything like that comes out of it. A piece of our puzzle. We want to know what our take-home pay is going to be. These will send a rough net pay. I leave it up to myself to figure out my rough net pay. When we're looking at the list of pay packages that a recruiter is going to send over, you might pick out one or two, you might be interested in all of them. The next thing we're going to do is say, can I have the pay breakdown? Is they are now going to send you the hourly pay, the overtime pay, any holiday pay that's important, especially for this time of year, your tax-free housing, your meals and incidentals, which is also tax-free, any reimbursements, all of those things. They should be sending that to you kind of in an itemized list. I want you to look at this stage in the game. Take a look at that hourly pay. Best and hard rule, there is just the best practice rule. And in travel nursing, if you are a nurse, now for allied specialties, I'm not too sure. I need you to take a look at that hourly pay. Make sure that it is not less than $20 an hour. Find this. When the IRS starts to look at your taxes, they're going to look at things and say, this world is a nurse, an RN making $17, $18 an hour. We hear about, right? 20, 22, probably the minimum. Hourly is at least $20 an hour. What to do is take a look at that overtime rate. That needs to be at least 1.5 times the hourly rate. Hourly rate is at the bare minimum, it's at $20. We're going to times that by 1.5, whopping $30 an hour. A state like California or Alaska, I'm going to need you to go a little bit further. Those positions in California and Alaska have their own overtime rules. Its own video later because it is very complicated. Everywhere else, overtime needs to be at least 1.5 times your hourly rate. Line, we're going to clarify holiday pay. We're going to clarify charge pay, on-call, callback, especially if you're in a procedural area. You want to know what those dollars are. Get into tax-free income. And in the initial pay breakdown that the recruiter sends you, there's a couple things we're going to do. Is head over to gsa.gov, the city that we're going to, and we are going to look at the numbers that they give us. Something like for housing, $100 a day, $50 a day. Is take that number that you see on the screen and you are going to multiply it by 7. The maximum allowed tax-free income for the geographical region that you are going to be working your travel assignment in. See what the max is, see where the pay package is that the recruiter has sent you. A little bit more in bill rates, so let's just keep it simple for today. Once we've looked at all those things, all of the hourly, overtime, all of that, and we've looked at the tax-free, we're going to find a paycheck calculator. Personally, I use Paycheck City. You can use any of them. I will plug in the state that I'm going to be working in, my specific tax information. So if you're single, you're married, you can plug that in. You're going to make sure that you choose weekly pay, 36 hours, 48 hours, 40 hours, whatever you are applying for, whatever the contract would be for. And you're going to put in your hourly pay rate. You're going to click calculate, give you a rough estimate of your weekly net pay. Weekly estimate of your net pay, your tax-free meals and incidentals. Give you your rough estimate take-home pay for a week. Not going to be perfect because insurance, benefits, all of those things are still going to factor in later. Decision-making process, it's going to tell us where we're at and what we think of that number. A step further, a rough estimate take-home pay, and I times it by 13. Roughly what I'm going to make in that 13-week contract. Expenses, you got to go into it further if you want to do that. My Instagram page, I do actually have my contract profitability sheet through how to do this process step by step. You can make copies of it, that's fine. One of the funniest questions that even myself had about pay was, well, how do they pay it? Money a separate direct deposit? How does that work? Direct deposit, the agency will do the math about how many direct deposits are going to hit your bank account, or feeling like the pay is complicated. A lot of people have that question. It will be one direct deposit every Friday. These numbers, remember, it's going to be whatever works for you. Travel nursing is a very individualized, very personal. Say things like, don't take anything less than 3,000, don't take anything less than that. What we talked about, look at the pay breakdown, look at all of the numbers, do the math, decide, does this work for me or doesn't this work for me? You tell your recruiter it doesn't work and keep looking. The easier it will become, so that when a recruiter sends you that initial pay, like, hey, it's $2,400 a week, you're kind of going to have those wheels turning, like, well, 2,300 didn't really work for me. Let's see if 2,400 will work. My series available over on TikTok, where I go into the bill rates. We are going to get into them here. That's probably going to be the next episode that I do before we all break for the Christmas holiday. With me, guys. November, but hopefully we are December, and I will see you guys next time for the episode on bill rates.